Hey everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome back to Locs Lux Lifestyle. If you enjoy loc content, lifestyle content, and self-help and self-development content, then make sure to hit that subscribe button because I do a little bit of all of that. But today, you guys, I am here with my 2-year loc update video. And I remember when I made a year last year, I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe I made a year. And now that it's year 2, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I made a second year. Like, every day I'm still amazed that I really have locs. But yes, if you are interested in hearing about my second year loc experience, then just keep watching.
The sun shines on all of my glory. My flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of?
Alright you guys, like I said, this is going to be my second year loc update video. And if you have been keeping up with my journey, y'all know that there were a lot of twists and turns in this second year, which I'm going to get into all of that. I'm going to share my experience this year compared to the first year. But before we get into the updates and everything, per usual, I'm gonna start with a quick recap. So if you are new here or you just haven't been keeping up with my loc journey, I started my locs on September 8th, 2020. I started with 2-strand twists. I have a total of 68 locs. I started my locs myself, and I have pretty much maintained my locs myself these last 2 years. I let a loctician do my hair one time, and outside of that, I have done my own hair. And then after about a year and a half into my loc journey, I decided to get loc extensions. So when I got the loc extensions, I didn't start like a complete new set. I still have my original set of locs that I started my starter locs with. However, I did extend them by just adding loc extensions to the ends of my natural locs. I also installed them myself, and I have maintained the loc extensions myself. I typically wash my hair every 2 to 3 weeks, and I retwist about every 6 weeks. And this is before and after loc extensions. My regular maintenance is pretty much still the same. So at this point in time, I have been locked for 2 years because, again, I still have my original set of locs, and I have had my loc extensions for 6 months now, you guys. I can't believe I even had these loc extensions for 6 months. 2022 has been flying by. But yeah, I'm also going to give you guys an update on my loc extensions in this video as well, because I don't think I did an update for the 5th month. So I'm going to give you guys a 6-month loc extension update as well. So if I could sum up year 2 in one word, I think it would be personalization. That's kind of a long word, but that's what it would be. I feel like my first year, it was really just about learning. I've mentioned in several videos, when I decided to loc my hair 2 years ago, I was completely new to the process. I had very little experience and knowledge about locs. So my first year, I just really spent that time getting familiar with the process, getting familiar with this new form of my hair. Like, year 1 was really just about learning and adjusting, right? So if you watch my 1.5 loc update video, I talked about like this hair funk that I went through after my year mark. So the year mark, I was super excited because I had reached such a milestone. However, like after that year mark, my hair was changing. It wasn't changing. The changes were slow. I had these expectations that my hair was just going to drastically change in length after the first year, and that process was coming about very slowly. And so because of like this hair funk, I started having thoughts about cutting my locs or combing them out and things like that. But deep down, I didn't want to do that. So for me to get the most out of my loc experience, and so that I wouldn't comb them out or cut them out, I had to really personalize my loc journeys. And so because of this, I had to make an executive decision, and I decided to make some changes to my locs. So one of the first changes I made was combining my locs. Throughout my journey, I have always talked about like my fine perimeter and how the locs along my perimeter, they were just a lot skinnier, a lot thinner. I just didn't like the way that they looked. So the first thing I did was combine them, right? Once I combined a few locs, like, it definitely made a difference in the overall look of my hair, how my hair fell, how the locs looked cohesively. It just looked more cohesive than what it did prior. So that was the first change that I made, and I'm very happy that I did that, because for a while I felt like having more locks was what I wanted, but I realized during this process that I value more of like the overall look and flow of my locks than the actual number, if that makes sense. And then the second thing that I changed is my hair color. So I dibbled and dabbled in color throughout my entire loc journey. When I started my locks, my hair was like a brownish color. I went red, I went black. However, deep down, I always wanted some blonde. That's what I wanted deep down, but I was always too afraid. One, because I just had never bleached my hair before. I've never gone like super light with my hair before. And then two, I was just afraid of potential damage. But I wanted some blonde, and so that brings me to the third change, which is very obvious. I already talked about, is that I got my loc extensions. So I have several videos dedicated to my loc extensions, you guys. I did a whole series prior to installing them, but for me personalizing this journey, one, I was bored with the length. Like I told you guys, I was going through a hair funk. I wanted length and versatility. And the second reason, I was like, ooh, if I get these loc extensions, I can also get my blonde without having to bleach my natural locks super light. So those are like the main three changes this year. The combining of the locks, the blonde. I did end up going lighter in on my natural locks too, but I got my color that I've been really wanting, which I've been loving this color scheme on me. And then I got my loc extension. And so now that brings me to my 6-month loc extensions up. So yeah, you guys, it's been 6 months with these loc extensions. I do, like I said, I have so many videos dedicated to like installing these, where I purchased them and all of that. So I will link I will have my loc extension playlist linked down below if you guys are interested in more details about, you know, the loc extensions and stuff like that. But yes, this is month 6. I didn't do month 5 just because honestly, I will say that since getting these loc extensions, there's not many differences month to month, right? Early on in my loc extensions, like the first month, I talked about like slippage, not a lot, but I did lose a couple of locks in the first month because they were sliding out. And now we are 6 months in, and honestly, this is like one of the main things that I don't like about the loc extensions is the slipping. Now, I installed them myself, so I'm sure a good portion of that is due to me just not installing them correctly. I haven't had any more fall out, but they still slip. And I have a couple that I wanted to show you guys. So this one right here, but a few of them are literally holding on by a strand. But if I pull on them, they don't necessarily come off, but I have a few that look like that, which is, it makes me nervous. That's one thing I will say 6 months into these loc extensions is that the slipping is slowed down, but it's still happening, you know? And this could possibly just be to the fact that, you know, I got my loc extensions after my locks were formed. When people get their loc extensions from the beginning, I feel like they're a little more secure because your hair is changing and growing with the loc extensions, whereas in my case, since the loc extensions are just attached to the ends of my already matured locks, they're not adhering as well. So that's one of the downsides that I feel like hasn't really changed much in these last 6 months. Like, it's not slipping as bad as it was in the beginning, but I still have to do like regular maintenance to make sure that the loc extensions are still on. I also have gotten a few comments asking whether or not I went through like a second budding phase with my loc extensions, and for a while I felt like I wasn't experiencing that at all. But the last time I washed my hair, I'm starting to notice a little bit of budding. It's not every loc, but I have noticed it on a few locks at the attachment point. There is a small amount of budding. The ends of my locks, you guys know these loc extensions started off with like curly ends that didn't kind of work out for me, and I have just kind of let them round out. And at first I hated that for me because I really wanted those curly ends, but over time I've gotten used to it. I feel like they look super natural. When I look at some loc extensions, they have the tendency to just kind of round off very even and blunt, or they're bulky, and I do feel like because I had the curly ends and I just kind of allowed the ends to lock on their own, it has like a more tapered look, and I just feel like it looks a lot more natural than some of the ends of other lock extensions that I see. So I used to hate the ends, but they don't really bother me too much now. The one thing I will say that I don't really care for in this lock extension part of my journey is that it's kind of hard to really like keep up with the length of my natural locks, just because overall my hair just looks like a long length. Like when I wash my hair, I can definitely sometimes see a difference in the length, but just in general, day to day, it's very subtle and it's hard to notice. So sometimes I'll be like wanting to do a length check, but it's like I got all this extra stuff on. It's kind of hard to really monitor or keep up with the length of my natural locks, which is kind of a good and a bad thing, because I feel like for these last 6 months I haven't been like obsessed about, you know, how long my locks are, if they're growing or anything like that. I've just been able to enjoy my locks, styling them and things like that. However, for the first time since I've had these lock extensions, I just had this feeling about a week ago, and I don't know if it's because I knew I was coming up on my 2nd year being locked, but I started to miss my natural locks a little bit. Like, I love these lock extensions, but a part of me has been missing my natural locks. And I feel like part of it is because, you know, like when you get box braids or you get a protective style and you just want to see how much your hair grew. I feel like part of it is that, like, oh, I've had these for 6 months, I'm ready to take them down and see how much my hair grew. But another part, I think I just honestly miss my locks. Like, I love these lock extensions. They have been great. Like I said, I don't regret installing them. But yeah, part of me, I will say I am starting to miss my natural locks a little bit. So with that being said, now that I'm going into year 3, I feel that I will be returning to my natural locks pretty soon. Ever since I had the lock extensions, you guys, I have always told you guys that this is not a permanent thing. This was just a temporary thing for me. I never really put like a firm end date on my lock extensions. It's always been like until I felt like it was ready, until I felt like my natural locks reached the length that I wanted them to. I felt like that I would keep them for about a year when I first put them in, but now at the 6-month mark, I don't know if I'm gonna make it the full year. I installed these in March of 2022, so ideally I thought like around March of 2023, that's when I would take them out. But since I've been having these feelings of kind of missing my natural locks, I was thinking maybe the end of the year I'll probably remove them. But then just in the last couple of days, I've been like, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to the end of this year. So I don't have a firm date on when I'm going to remove them, but I have been kind of having those feelings, and I'm just one of those people, from starting my lock journey to getting my lock extensions, it's always one of those things like when I feel like the time is right, I'll do it, but it's hard for me to like verbalize it. It's like a feeling, like when you know, it's one of those kind of feelings. But I feel like I'm starting to have that when you know feelings. So yes, I'm not gonna say my lock extension is coming to an end just right away, because honestly I don't know. This is how I feel today, and then tomorrow I may wake up and be like, I ain't taking them out yet. And I also don't want to remove them prematurely and then be mad that I removed them. So I don't have a date on it yet, but I have been having those feelings. So I'm going to give you guys like some texture shots of my hair real quick, and then we are going to close out this video. So here is my hair, you guys. I have an old like perm rod set in right now. A lot of the curls have fallen, kind of a little messy, but I think it still looks cute. But this is my hair. One thing that I like really about having these blonde locks, that has helped me kind of been able to keep up with the length of my natural locks. So as you guys can see, my natural locks end about right here, and then, you know, this is just like the lock extension. In the front, if you want to length check, again, you can kind of see where my hair ends. So I do feel like, I've been watching some of my old videos, so I definitely noticed a big difference in like the length. Like at the 1 year mark, a lot of my locks were falling about right here in the front, and even this one here, I could tell I added it in right here. Like, they're definitely falling a little longer now, especially in the back. But I hear that the back of your head, it grows a little faster. It's a good one right here. So you guys can't tell, but I know that my natural lock, I can feel where my natural lock ends. And so they kind of fall about right here now on the sides. You guys see where my natural lock ends. And so they fall about right here. I got a little hang time on them now. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Here's another one. I feel like when I hold them out. But yeah, here's my hair, you guys. And y'all, dare I say, again, I love this color. This color I think looks so good on me. Like, I think that this is truly my color. But with summer coming to an end, I've kind of been like wanting to go back red. I know last time I went red, I hated it, but I've been having an itch to go back red again. But yeah, this is my hair, you guys. But yes, you guys, that is going to be it for my second year lock update. Lock extensions, no lock extensions. Locking my hair, I will say, was like the best decision I made when it came to my hair. I don't know, just something about the locks that as soon as I did it, I'm like, it just feels like me, especially for whatever this time period in my life. Like this, I was meant to have these locks. And overall, I do not regret my decision to lock my hair. I don't regret my decision to get lock extensions. From the beginning of my journey, I have always did things a little unconventionally. I was sitting here watching my some of my older videos. Y'all remember when I added some fake hair to my initial starter locks because of my heat damage? I've just done a lot of things that were unconventional, I will say. And even through all of that, I don't regret any decision I have ever made with my locks during this journey. Like, obviously, if I were to ever do another set of locks, I would go about it differently, only because like I have some background, I have some knowledge, I have some experience with locks. However, I don't regret anything that I have done during this lock journey. Everything that I did with my hair during this lock journey, I did it because that's what I wanted to do, and I was operating with the knowledge that I had in those moments, and I don't beat myself up for that. And it has been an enjoyable experience, and we'll see what year 3 has, you guys. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Snatched by Sharmel, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.